Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're having a really good day so far. This is a long video. Star Baby says hello. But this is going to be a long format video where I will voice over some spinning wool into yarn. Here I am threading my leader thread through the orifice with the orifice hook. And I'm tightening up my drive band. I spin yarn on a Kromsky Minstrel spinning wheel. It is a castle style wheel, and I spin with a double drive band. It has the capacity to spin with Scotch tension, which is an alternative method of tensioning the wheel, which I've actually never done before. So I cannot speak to spinning with Scotch tension. Usually you see Scotch tension wheels with an elastic drive band. Honestly, I don't even know how to set it up, but I do love my double drive band. One loop of that band is around the whorl and the other is around the bobbin. And you can see as I tighten that top piece there, I'm tightening or loosening the drive band. And I'm doing a little ply back test to make sure that my yarn is coming out with the right amount of twist. You want to spin with just the right amount of twist on your singles. If it has too much, it will start to coil in on itself, and you don't want that because it does make plying two or more singles together rather difficult. So I just continue to test that tension as I start spinning, and you can see that I'm a little unorganized with my fiber drafting. I don't know, I just draft as the wool moves through my hands. I have learned by the end of, I think, this session that I do enjoy pre-drafting. However, in this session, I did not pre-draft very much. And that's why you'll notice that my hands sort of vary in the frequency which I'm allowing the yarn to be picked up into the bobbin. It's all a little bit of a dance between the speed of my pedaling, the foot pedals, and the speed at which the yarn is picked up, and as quick as I'm able to sort of organize it between my two hands there. And in this video, I did want to touch on a few things that I've learned in the process of spinning wool all of these years. And the first is how important it is to find a comfortable seat. I didn't know what a comfortable seat was when I first started spinning, and I learned a very difficult way to find a comfortable seat. I had started spinning at my couch, which is a low frame couch, and I had a long spinning day. I think I spun for like 12 or more hours. It was a very long session of spinning, and by the end of it I had thrown my back out, and a lot of that had to do with just how low my hips were relative to my knees, and the lack of breaks that I did not take. I did not take any breaks at all. Maybe just to go to the bathroom or drink some water or eat some food real quick. But without, pausing from that constant repetitive motion of basically putting tension at the front of the hip, I shortened that hip flexor and weakened the back end, likely the glutes, one or the other, and it was just a what's the phrase? Domino effect, where everything kind of fell out of whack. So one of the most important things that I've learned in spinning is finding a comfortable seat, and that is going to be one where your hips are in line with or above your knees. It's very important. And when you find that seat, I think it's critical too to try to stick your butt out as far back behind you as you can, because you do want to try to maintain the natural curve of your low spine. And for me, it feels very unnatural to sit with my butt far back. because I have a tendency to round and flatten through the low back, especially when I'm sitting for a long while and maybe getting a little lazy. So those are a couple tips I have for finding a comfortable seat. I am sitting in a hanging chair, which I purchased from Pier 1. It's the only new piece of furniture in our home, but I really wanted a hanging chair, and I found it was perfect for my spinning wheel because I could adjust it. If I needed it to be higher, I could move the chains, and if I needed it to be lower, I could adjust it in the other direction. So I found it the perfect seat for my spinning wheel. I have heard that the Kromsky Minstrel castle wheels are a little taller than other wheels. Some wheels have an orifice that sits closer to the ground than others, and I've heard that this one is quite tall. So I needed a nice, tall, comfortable seat. So that is where I'm sitting. Another thing I learned about long periods of spinning. This video I recorded about 50 minutes of spinning. I didn't get about halfway done with these 50 grams of singles. It was probably closer to 60 grams, maybe even 70 grams that I was trying to spin one night. But I learned it's also important to try to bend the small joints of my hands, the little phalange joints, those little knuckles. It's really hard to do, I think, when you're gripping, to stay bent through the thumb or the forefinger or really any of the fingers, because you want to get a good grip. But I do notice as I continue to spin and spin and spin that my hands will tire out if I don't adjust and manipulate the manner which I've positioned my fingers and my thumbs. So keeping a slight bend to any of those joints is a bit critical for me to continue spinning more than 10, 15, 20 minutes. It'll wear out quickly if I don't. In fact, I even notice on occasion if I overextend my left thumb, it's almost like a spinning injury. Like I feel like I've overdid it one day or another and it hasn't quite gone away. So I can mitigate any discomfort by keeping that thumb joint bent and in a state of flexion. So I'm just spinning away, spinning. And you'll see that I moved my yarn onto the next hook because ultimately I want to spin the yarn evenly on the bobbin. I think that's another thing too that I've learned in the process of spinning over the years, and this might only apply to double drive band, although again, I don't know anything about spinning Scotch tension. I'm sure there's some way to manipulate the tension on a Scotch drive band, but when you continue to build yarn on the bobbin, the taller the yarn, the slightly more tension it needs. So you need more tension on the drive band when the bobbin is closer to full versus when you're starting out. So you want to try to avoid those hills and valleys as you build the fiber on the bobbin. The more consistent you can maintain it across end to end, I think the better. But it's not the biggest mistake in the world. In fact, I still on occasion forget to shift the yarn, and I'll just make up the difference as I continue on. A lot of the times too, I don't make it all the way back to the other end of the bobbin, and that doesn't really make a huge difference. But you will notice as you get to know the tension of your drive band and how tight it needs to be or wants to be, that it'll change as you continue to spin and fill your bobbin. Now, I mentioned I spin on a Kromsky Minstrel. I also invested along the years in a few other Kromsky tools. I did make sure that they all match. I really like the walnut finish of my wheel, and I wanted the full set. So this wheel came with 3 bobbins, and you'll see it has a attached lazy Kate of sorts. It's not a true lazy Kate in my mind. It's more like a bobbin holder, because I learned when I finally invested in a true lazy Kate, which is it's an additional accessory that holds your bobbins with a little bit of tension, so that as the yarn you are plying off of those bobbins is drawn into the wheel, it comes off of those bobbins at a steady pace rather than rolling uncontrollably and the yarn becoming a little mismanaged. I found that when I purchased the Lazy Kate, that slight amount of tension on the bobbins made a huge difference in the quality of my plied yarn. Night and day, without a doubt. Complete game changer. I haven't shown you my my Lazy Kate in this video. You don't see it here, but you can Google search Lazy Kate spinning wheel and see what they look like. You can make your own. You can fashion some rubber bands or twine, or, a lot of people do ingenious things, but I'm a little extra. I wanted the fancy wheel and the fancy Lazy Kate, and I wanted everything to match. Here I'm just testing to make sure that my yarn is the correct thickness. I think I'd picked up a little too much fiber, so I broke off my fiber supply, yanked out the piece that was a bit of a mistake, and then unwound it a little bit so that I could get those fibers nice and open again to rejoin my fiber supply. And that is my general method of correcting my mistakes as I spin. I've said in a recent podcast video that everybody that spins yarn, whether you've been spinning for a short while or a long while, everyone makes little flubs, little mistakes. But I think a talented spinner knows how and when to pause and step back and undo and redo. Just like when you're knitting, if you are a knitter or maybe a crocheter, you catch a mistake and you have found some ingenious way to stop, go back, fix it. And a lot of the times with spinning, as long as you don't let that mistake pass the orifice and make its way onto the wheel, it's as easy as tearing it out, picking it up, starting over again. It's a lot like knitting. It's honestly, spinning is really a very relaxing skill and craft because you don't have to think so much. You can just do it. And I really love the idea of turning a raw material into a finished project. It's quite satisfying, a lot like knitting a sweater or crocheting a blanket or whatever you do. To turn one thing into something completely different with a function and beauty is a wonderful thing. And I don't know how I started doing this. I do know I was deeply inspired by a lot of wonderful, mostly women, but I'll just say people in general, here on YouTube, this weird platform, right? Isn't YouTube it's kind of radical. It's a radical place where literally anybody can upload almost anything. But I found this strange pocket on the internet of people obsessed with knitting and wool and place-based yarns, the ecological consequences of our consumption, and an environmentalist spin and a cultural spin. And I didn't mean to use the word spin as a pun, but there it is. I found all these amazingly talented people online that really inspired me, and I saw that they were spinning, and in the back of my mind, I knew I really wanted to spin too, but I don't know, I fell into it, and I'm really glad that I did, because I just thought it was so cool to think that what was once grass had become a garment. Some sheep, not all sheep, but some sheep just graze and graze and graze, and they grow this fiber that has evolved along the side of mankind over centuries. And it's this symbiotic, almost, I mean, not literally, but it's this relationship of humanity to the rest of the natural world. Like we have developed and evolved species of animals to coexist alongside us, to provide as we provide for them. And I just think that I mean, I don't know how much we really provide sheep in which context, but I just thought it would be really cool if I could take a raw material like a sheep's fleece and handcraft it into something like a sweater or a shawl, something that I could wear that you cannot buy. It doesn't exist in a store. And there is almost nothing I know now. I didn't probably know then, and I didn't have much confidence in what I was capable of making, so I'm sure I didn't know this then, but to be honest, a hand-spun yarn, or I should say a hand-knit or crocheted garment made of a hand-spun yarn is really incomparable to what you can buy in a store. It doesn't exist. It's not there. You can't buy it. I mean, you could buy it. You could certainly buy hand-spun yarn, and I would encourage anyone out here listening to this video, if you have the means and the desire, definitely buy that hand-spun yarn. But I'm just saying that it is not commodified in a sense. And I thought it would be kind of cool to just seize the means of production and turn something into a work of art on my own without any help of a big and abstract machine or industry. I love the yarn industry. I love the people that build it and make it, and I have gratitude for them, and I love machine manufactured yarns, of course. But I just thought, how cool to turn raw wool into, again, I've said it already, but to turn that into something wearable, I think is sick. So that was something I just felt passionate about doing, and I did, and that was probably 7 years ago now. I don't really keep track of how long ago it was that I started, because to me, I think it's more important that I practice and I continue practicing. And, they say perfection does not exist, but practice is perfect. So did I say practice doesn't exist? I meant perfection does not exist. I don't know what I just said. I've just been talking into my phone for a minute, and I'm losing it. So if you're listening, thank you. Give this video a like, because obviously if you've made it this far into my rambling, I hope you enjoy this content. And by liking this video, it really does help me grow my channel here on YouTube. And I hope that if you haven't yet already, you will please subscribe. And of course, you want to ring the bell for notifications to be in the know of when I have new content uploaded. I wanted to make this little extra special bonus video for you all this week because I have missed you all. I know many of you tune in to my weekly podcast episode. I upload every Sunday for a live premiere at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do live on the East Coast of the U.S. in Baltimore, Maryland. So I know that time is not convenient for everyone, especially the West Coast peeps. I can't imagine waking up at 6 a.m. to watch a YouTube video, but yeah, it's just what's able to work for me. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in to my weekly podcast. I've missed you guys. I appreciate everyone's understanding, me just taking a week off. We'll talk more about that on Sunday, but I hope that you're all well, and I wonder if you enjoyed this video, if you like content in this format, if you want more. If you have any questions that you want answered on the subject of spinning or processing wool fiber, I would be happy to upload that in another voiceover video, whether it's over content like this where I'm just spinning at my wheel, or possibly even sorting some raw wool or washing wool. I do plan to bring home half of a fleece from the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival coming up the first weekend of May. So that would be a prime opportunity to record some fiber processing content for you. But, I wonder if I could even upload something like that sooner if someone out here is interested in that, because I do still have a fair amount of fleece that does need to be washed and processed. So I could maybe find some time this weekend or next, or even the weekend after, to create a little bonus content for you if you need or want to learn more about processing raw fiber from a fleece into spinnable yarn, wool. Spinnable wool to make into yarn. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Again, please, thank you. And I want to thank you all so much for listening. If you want to find me on social media, I'm not the most active on any platform. In fact, I think my YouTube channel is the only place I am consistent. But I do upload stories on occasion, nothing too personal, but I'm active in my stories over on Instagram. And you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Taylor E. Owen. And if you want to support this channel here, I do have a link below in the description box where you can buy me a Ko-fi if you so choose. But I would encourage you, if you did want to make such a donation, I would encourage you instead to purchase one of my patterns on Ravelry because they are priced somewhat low. I mean, you don't have to give anything, but if you wanted to show appreciation for this channel, consider purchasing one of my patterns, because then you at least get something back from me, and that's something I want to give you all. I have a lot to talk about this Sunday, so I hope I'll see you in this week's podcast video or premiere. And we'll all talk soon. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Let me know in a comment below if you have any questions about spinning you want answered for another video like this one. There's also a link below to a forum where you can submit a question, and I won't forget to answer that one. I might forget to answer a question in the comments, to be honest, because comments come and go, and they get lost in the sauce of YouTube. But the forum, it lives forever. So let me know any question you have that you want me to answer in the forum link below. And I'm just so thankful that you're here, that you're listening, and I appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and that you take care.
Tonight, but you don't seem to forget about yourself. Wondering how it could go so wrong, but you didn't call for help. But let me tell you about the trees and the seas, how it's all connected. The flowers and the birds and bees, the northern lights, yeah, we're all affected. Watching, pray, pray, pray. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out. that's pouring into you. And so my friend, let me tell you once again, and you know that it's true. Forget about seeing it or hearing it, in the end you must feel. Forget about all you know, you need to go, it's okay to let go. Just let it go, go, go. Then you're breathing in. You're breathing out.
been broken. Go get lost in a little town, get dressed up and just drive around. Get both feet on some solid ground. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Take a call with an old friend. Get the guts to start over again. You gotta lose to be ready to win. Just enough to fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. I'm gonna fill this bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Get it, kid. I'm tearing through the lights till I hit the coast. Watch the sunrise with the Holy Ghost. Taking my time and letting go. I was a child in the Georgia hills. My favorite toy was a tin pail. Turn on the tap and don't let it spill. It was just enough to fill my bucket up to the top. Fill my bucket up. I'm gonna fill my bucket up to the top. Fill my bucket up. I'm gonna fill my bucket, don't let it drop. Fill my bucket up. I'm gonna fill my bucket up to the top. Fill this bucket up. Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit. It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, that gets old. It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. I know nothing new, nothing different to do.